This is the DC Comics Multiverse 6-inch Batman versus Superman Armored Batman. Actually 6.5 inches, as I've shown in the Wonder Woman review. Here's the assortment for first wave. For the first wave, this is the one I did not pick up, simply because the eyes were just so freaky on the figure. 5 to 8 figures, 5 to 8 coming soon. I wonder who they could be. Okay, the piece that he came with is this one. This is that one that holds the bullets, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Or the grappling hooks. Before we begin with Batman, this was the piece that came with the Wonder Woman's figure, which I did not show in my review, so that's that. Okay. So, perhaps the figure I was most excited with for this wave, and actually I was kind of disappointed. He looked great in packaging, but when I opened him up and started playing with him, just very disappointing. Okay, let's start with the whole silhouette, the whole sculpt of this figure. I thought that one looked great. On planning, on the drawing board, I think this figure is excellent. I think Mattel did a wonderful job with the sculpt. Just on the aesthetics alone, I think they captured that movie likeness, the likeness to the to how the armored Batman appears on the movie, just basing it off on trailers that I've seen. Okay, so that one's okay. They got that down. Paint apps are actually pretty good. He's got that weathered look to him. As you can see, there's in every part. Well, here they didn't paint the internal latex suit, but the armor, it's got a lot of weathering, some scratching, scraping here and there. It's not a flat gray or silver, which is great. I thought that detail they put in that was great. The flesh kind of looks artificial on this one. It looks like he's wearing a latex mask underneath, but that's fine. I think the eyes came out well. The details on the strap, on this strap, the scratch on the armor. Yeah, the gun's not painted, but yeah, it looks great. What is it with Mattel and their grip? They always have that circular grip on their figures. Anyway, maybe this is the low end. Maybe, that's just how they do it. But paint apps and sculpt turned out great for this figure. One thing I was very disappointed though, and it's gonna start with this, is the articulation. The articulation looks fine upon first glance, but it really wasn't executed well. This is supposed to be a ball joint, but it can hardly move. He's supposed to have an ab crunch, but it only moves upward. It doesn't go downward. It's got a waist swivel, that's great. Ball hinge shoulders, bicep swivel, a hinge elbow, and a swivel forearm with a swivel wrist. This is what I hate, because you can always end up doing it that. I mean, fine, you can opt not to, but it just it feels weird that they've got redundant articulation. That I'm not complaining too much because of the added articulation, but I wish instead of a swivel, they should have made this a double jointed elbow, ball hinge hips, thigh swivel, which is okay. Just makes the thigh look awkward when you're posing it. The cut should have been here, but Mattel always does it mid-thigh. A single hinge knees, which should have been a double jointed knee. And just I think this is supposed to be a ball hinge ankle. Is there a pivot? I could have sworn, yeah, there's a little bit of a pivot right there. But no, I don't think it's supposed to pivot. I mean, Mattel. Mattel? Yep, Mattel. You've been doing this thing for a long time. They're called ankle rockers. Why is it so difficult to do that? And because of the lack of ankle rockers, and because he's got these meat tenderizer soles on his boots, it is freaking difficult to stand this figure. I mean, just pose. I mean, much more pose him. I mean, you can try and pose him. We'll have to have the cape supporting all the poses. But without the cape, if you're going to do him in a running position, it's literally impossible to pose this guy because of the textured feet, and because of the lack of rocker joints, you can get it's very difficult to get him in decent poses. You'll put him in these awkward poses just to find the center of gravity. Really, really frustrating to pose this figure and to stand him up. The only way I can see him not falling off or toppling over your shelf is if you pose him at attention like that. Because you try to pose him like this, it's I can't even find it. I mean, I can't even find the correct. The thing is just difficult to. It's just so frustrating. I mean, Mattel, DC Comics, DC Collectibles. Your movie already sucks. Your movies already suck. I mean, toys should not suck. Anyway, so it doesn't suck completely. It's just disappointing. It's gonna get. I was expecting a lot from this figure, but I'm afraid I'll have to give it a 7 out of 10. I was really hoping this figure would blow me away. Anyway, here he is with Wonder Woman. I'll show off Superman once I review Superman, but okay, this one I think I gave it a 7 or a 6, maybe a 7. But yeah, very disappointing. So there you go, folks. DC Comics Multiverse 6-inch Batman vs Superman Armored Batman. Thanks for watching.